guys, my name is Morgan Maluli and I'm in school to become a teacher just like yours. I go to school at FGCU and I'll be in your class today to teach you all about a special bird. After we are done learning about the special bird, you should be able to answer 3 questions. You should be able to tell me the name of the bird, what the bird eats, and some special characteristics the bird has. Now let's see if you can recognize the bird on the next slide. Can you tell me the name of this bird? That's right, it's a parrot. How about the second bird? Close, it's a crow. And how about this last one? That's it, it's a cardinal. Now that you have recognized some of these common birds, let's look at the special bird we will be studying about today. Today we're learning all about the green heron. In these first few slides, I will go over what the green heron looks like, how big the green heron is, how they behave in the wild, and where they live and what they eat. So, what does the green heron look like? You're good, go ahead. Okay. Do you guys have any guesses? Here's a clue. It is called the green heron. Yep, that's right. The green heron is green. But the green heron can have an array of colors. Mostly the green heron is a deep green and chestnut brown. In this photo, you can see that the green heron has some maroon feathers at the top. In the second photo, you can see that the green heron has feathers that stick straight up on the top of his head. That usually means that this bird is a juvenile. A juvenile means that it is not adult yet. Next, we're going to talk about the size of the green heron. So how big are they? Green herons are usually 16 to 20 inches in size, which is normally the size of a soccer ball. The green heron weighs about ½ a pound. So these birds are pretty small, but an amazing fact is that the green heron can stretch their necks 8 to 10 inches. You guys know what other animal has a long neck? That's right, it's a giraffe. Along with their long necks, herons can have a wingspan of 27 inches. This means that their wings can stretch out in order to fly, just like the photo you see. Next, the green herons have a patient behavior in their environments. They can stand still for hours to catch a bird or a fish. Could you guys stay motionless for hours? No, I couldn't either. In the video, you can see the green heron is patiently waiting for his food. Do you want to play the video?
Yeah.
I don't think it's, yeah.
Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus now bundled together. The greatest stories and characters, the largest.
Okay, you're good. Thank you. So you guys can see in that video that the green heron is patiently waiting for his food. You can go to, thank you. Do you guys know of any other animals that patiently wait for their food? Those are all great answers. My answer was a lion. So where do green herons live? Green herons usually live in wooded ponds, marshes, reservoirs, and estuaries. Because they live close to the ground, it makes it hard to spot green herons. Can you find a green heron in this photo? Now let's talk about the environment that the green herons live in. Most green herons live in North America, Central America, and South America. If we look in the photo of the map, we can see where these places are. Sometimes these birds will migrate south for the winter. What do you think it means for a bird to migrate south for the winter? To migrate south for the winter, it means that a bird flies south when it gets cold up north. Now, last but not least, what does the green heron eat? Green herons mostly eat fish and minnows. They will also eat crayfish and other crustaceans, insects, frogs, tadpoles, and even snakes and small rodents. Crustaceans are things like shrimp and lobster, and rodents are usually small rats or mice. We can see that the green heron has a varying appetite. One thing to remember is that green herons not only eat a variety of food, but not many animals eat or prey on the green heron. This means that they protect themselves from bigger animals. Because the green heron is good at protecting himself, they are very common and they are not endangered. Now that we have learned all about the green heron, where they live, and what they eat, I'm going to ask you those questions I had you keep in mind at the beginning of this lesson. Here we go. What is the name of the bird we just learned about? What does the bird eat? And what is one special characteristic that the bird has? Great job, guys. It was great talking to your class today about the green heron.
So hi everyone, my name is Sabrina Feingold. I'm a Child and Youth Studies major at FGCU, and I'm so excited to become a teacher just like yours. So now that we'll continue with why ecology is important to the green heron. Do you guys know what ecology means? Ecology is the branch of biology dealing with relations to the organisms to one another and their actual surroundings. So, green herons are important predators of fish and invertebrates in the aquatic ecosystems where they live. Ecology is important to the green heron because they need to choose when and where to breed their offspring. They begin to migrate or move to a certain location in the early April to May, and they are settled in their breeding places by the end of May. The green heron has the ability to build, good. The green heron has the ability to build their own breeding places known as heron rookeries. They are in tall trees and the nests are at the top of the branches. So as you see in the photo, that is a heron rookery. I think I've seen one before in the woods or something like that. So yeah.
All right, hey guys, my name is Amber Schweitzer and I'm an education major at FGCU and want to become a elementary school teacher. This part is going to be about the life cycle. Every animal has a life cycle, which is periods of time dedicated to them growing on their own. With the green heron, within the span of a month, it grows enough to be an independent bird. If we follow this photo, starting on the right-hand side with the eggs, that's when they are first placed, and then they start hatching, and the parents are feeding them and taking care of them until they start branching, and then they take their first flight, and then after their first flight, they're able to fly on their own. The parents still take care of them after a few weeks, and then after that, they're able to fly all by themselves. The beginning of the life cycle. The beginning of the life cycle starts with males who choose the nesting territory, and which is called a perch, to attract females. So in the one photo, we can see the typical area the birds would try to nest in. And then in the next photo, we see the green herons when they first start hatching, and they're really, really young, and they're coming out of their eggs at this time. This is about the young herons and their habits. They have many different habits that allow them to grow successfully. But at first, the green herons lay around 2 to 7 blue or blue-green eggs, and then both of the adults take care of the eggs, and then they start to hatch around 19 to 21 days. The feeding and the stance. So when they first hatch and they start going on their own, they still have to be fed by their parents. So they're stand in like groups with others while the parents go off and find food, and then they come back and they give the food to the birds. And then after a while, after around a month, they start to like take care of themselves and feed themselves once they first take their flight. The green herons already start taking on the hunting stance of the adult green herons. Around this time, the stronger they get, the more able they are to stand by themselves. So within the two photos, we can see them standing by themselves. And then when you see the big heron, that's when it's feeding them. And then in the next photos, you see the adult heron. That's a typical stance they make when they are about to go hunting. And then you can see the small little young herons start to mimic this stance once they feel like they're gonna be able to start flying by themselves. So once they become adults, they climb out of their nest, which I said before is called branching, and they do this around 16 to 17 days after they hatch. The young green herons usually make their first flight around 21 to 23 days, but will still be fed by their parents for a few more weeks. So around the time that they come out of the eggs till they take their first flight is usually around almost a month until they're fully independent after that. And then the big thing you can notice when they are starting to become adults is the difference in their coloring between the juvenile and the adult green herons. So then these are two illustrations. The first one is when they're flying and when they're like feeding or hunting. And then the bottom one is a photo of a younger heron. And then these are two photos. This is what it would look like for a smaller heron to start branching. And then on the bottom photo, that's when they start to try to take their first flight. So it's really tricky for them after a while, but around a month, they're gonna start to fully take the shape of flying and be able to go off on their own. Now it's question time. So like I've mentioned, and test your thinking skills and your listening skills. Overall, how long is it for them to become independent? So from the time that they hatch to the time they take their first flight. Excellent answers. It is around a month. You're good.
Now that we've gone over all of our information on the fabulous green heron, it is time for you to put your skills to the test. Here we have a word search with a word bank at the bottom. Are there any words that you can find in the word search? That is awesome. I'm sure your teacher would love to hear a little bit more about the words you can find. And we just want to say thank you so much for letting us come in today. And we wanted to thank the Messiest Wildlife Society of Bonita Bay and Treeline Elementary for letting us come in and talk to you guys a little bit more. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.